Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we're going to continue with the block. Stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you haven't yet, please consider hitting that subscribe button and hit that post notification bell to stay up to date with this rebuild. With that being said, let's get into it. So boys, I've spent some time on the computer looking through my workshop manual that's 3,000 pages long, and I discovered that these numbers actually mean something. And the AA and AB are actually the bore sizes. So that means we have 3 bores that are the same and 1 that's not. So in the workshop manual, we just took a photo. So A is 92.005 to 92.015, and B is 91.995 to 92. So they're a little bit different. Be great if they were all the same, but I guess that's the tolerance that they allow. Yeah, so actually on the same page is where I should be measuring, and the limits for taper and out of roundness. So I'm actually going to measure this all again. I'm not going to take you through it, but there's 4 points that I should be measuring it at. So I'm going to mark up all the cylinders at those points, and I'm going to get measuring. So I'm not actually going to film all that. It was pretty much my last video, so we'll come back when I've measured them all and see how out of round they are and how the taper is. I have been boring or honing these ones mainly, and hopefully we haven't gone too far with them. I do want to do this all myself, but if it's too far out, like if I've taken too much out of like the middle of something or something, I'm gonna have to take it to a machine shop. So I'll have to take these pins out too. I'm not sure how to do that just yet, but I'll figure that out. And yeah, we'll get all the measurements done tonight. If it's too far out, I'll give a machine shop a call tomorrow, and I'll have to ask them, do you want me to torque the block together? Do you use torque plates? You know, stuff like that. I did read that torque plates really only warp the bore by 60 thou, I think it is. So not a lot. So it's better to have it, but you can do it without. So as long as I get a straight bore, or the machine shop can do a straight bore and machine the decks flat. I don't mind doing the decking myself, get a straight edge and do it that way. But we've got to work out how to get this all level, make sure the bench is level, make sure this is the same distance, measure it all around, because it could be flat, but it could be up higher on one side and lower on the other. Anywho, I'll measure them all in those four spots, so a lot more measurements, and we'll come back and see how I've gone. Alright boys, so I've measured everything I can do. I can't do obviously the piston pin on the 115, because that's at the bottom of the ball, and that's where the cutout is for you sliding the pin in. But there's only, I've set the gauge to 92, spot on 92. So I hadn't actually calibrated these properly, so that put everything out. So I calibrated them properly. Know how to do that now. Calibrated that to 92, right? And then, yeah, there's only one that's 92, and that's the piston or bore 4 this way at the 10mm down. It's the only one that's at 92. Now I did quickly put it onto piston number 1 to measure that, and it's not 92. So I need to measure up all the pistons again, and I'll write them up the top here. So that's down the 1.1 inch on the EJ20 with a 75mm stroke. I've got to measure it down. Yeah, 1.1 inch. So I'll write them up here, and I'll work out maths. Alright, so I measured all of the pistons at the correct location. This one I went back and triple checked, and we did end up getting a different measurement of 91.84. All the other ones are 91.83. So this is obviously in millimeters, and this is in inches. So we need to convert so we can see where we're at. I'll convert this into inches because we end up using inches in the bore size to work out the ring gap. So might as well convert that now, and then we can see where we're at with the correct roundness or piston to wall gap. Alright boys, lots of number crunching. So I've got the difference from 92mm on here from the gauge, converted it to inches so we can see the bore size at those points. And then on this one I've got the piston to wall clearance so we can see all the difference. Now what I could do is minus the larger number with the smallest number, and we can see how out of round it is, and we can see if it's still good. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and see the differences. We've only got one that I've measured which is perfectly round. It's at 80mm on the piston or bore 4, which is the one I've been working on the most. So yeah, I'll go through and add and minus all of them and see if we are in spec, Subaru spec. Alright boys, went around and worked out the differences. So for the roundness, worst one is actually piston cylinder 4, but everything else is pretty close. This one tapers in at 45, tapers in, goes straight. This one, yeah, need to work on that one. Definitely need to work on from 45 up. We are dead circle at 80, so yeah, we really need to work on that top section. But yeah, we've got a bit of yeah, it tapers in a bit, but that's all right. Yeah, I couldn't obviously get the other measurement for the bottom of the board because of the pins, but not too bad. So now I need to work out the actual piston to wall clearance that's Manly calls for these pistons. So I've got to duck inside and have a look. I can't remember off by heart, so back in a sec. Great. I just went and checked, and for high boost, which obviously I'm going to be running, it's calling for 40 thou. Piston to wall. Yeah, some of my measurements exceed that. Most of them do. So 0.004, 0.00475, 475, 475. They all exceed that. Have I done something wrong? Because I've still got the scrapes in there, so how is that possible? Again, this I don't know if it's this or what. I just didn't calibrate it properly, but yeah, I'm gonna measure the pistons again. Make sure they're not 91.83. So that will make a big difference. Alright, I just recalibrated this. So I'm gonna take a few measurements and see how far out it is. Hopefully it's my mistake and we are still in spec. Obviously the differences would still be the same, just the overall measurement would be different, if that makes sense. Yeah, so these ones would be the same, just these would be different. So I just did one measurement, cylinder 1, cross section of the pin direction, so A, and yeah, it was half, so from 2 thou to 1 thou. Alright, so what I just did then, I just recalibrated this again to 91.83. So the 0 is 91.83. So I'm going to quickly look at piston to wall clearance. So it asks for 4 thou. So if we get 4, then yeah, makes sense. So yeah, I just set that up and went down to the 10 and make sure it doesn't slip. And we've got 4 thou. Of piston and wall clearance. And then the other cross section, they're at 6. Yeah. How does that work if I recalibrated it? I'll do a few more. Alright. Piston wall clearance is now too much. But it has, what did it have? Like boost wise. Mild boost, high boost, and I saw another one somewhere. Oh, it was gap in the rings. Extreme boost, I think it was. So I might say I'm going extreme and have a little bit bigger. So I guess the next thing is to get the piston rings off and re-measure them. See if the gaps have changed a stupid amount. If they have, we might get another block. Yeah. So I'm doing piston 4 first because it's got the largest piston to wall clearance. So I'm going to take the rings off and see how they are. Alright, so we've got the first ring in there for number 4, and we're somewhere in between 0.025 and 0.026, which is high boost. You know what? It's getting late. It's like past 11:30. But I think I might just send it. Just send it. I've still got good clearance. Hopefully it'll run a bit smoother. A bit more free revving. But hopefully there isn't piston slap. I don't think it's that much that it's piston slap worthy, like piston to ball clearances. Roundness and taper, it's a little bit still within spec. I've got another surprise, but you won't know until the engine's back together. But I got some parts today. I'll show you one thing. Got my new expansion tank from IAG. Looking beautiful. Obviously it's not for the Forester, so I'm gonna have to modify my body. I'm not gonna modify this. Probably just put a nutset and a little bushing there, but that bracket needs to go now and find somewhere else for those solenoids. It's a bit exciting, isn't it? Hopefully have a nice neat engine bay once everything's back in. Still a lot of work to do. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get like a straight edge and stuff just to check the deck height and make sure it's all level. I didn't actually have any head gasket issues, so I don't see why it would be out. I'll check the heads obviously, so a bit of measurements are needed, but I think I'm going to do everything myself. Save a bit of money, but yeah, just get a bit more satisfaction of doing something. Hopefully it gets a decent amount of power, and we can then detune it and drive it around. But yeah, oh, I don't think I showed you. I just took a photo, but I got a M20 to a -10 Mishimoto adapter. It'll go into the back of the cylinder head for the extra cooling for cylinder 4. Then I'll just come up with like a T-piece and into the heater hose, so just make my own cylinder 4 coolant bypass thing. You know what I mean. Anyway, I'm gonna head to bed. You can probably tell I'm a bit tired, so we'll come back and I need to put the cross hatches into these two. So just a quick hone with the ball hone. It's a bit easier to get the cross hatches. These ones look like they've already got it. I'll just send it down pretty quick tomorrow. Yeah, and I'll measure all the piston rings. Measure all the piston rings for all of them, and we'll write them down just like I did here. So probably another late night tomorrow, but I do need to edit, so maybe might be in the next episode. I'll clean up the pistons as well, and hopefully start getting this thing back together. Or at least we can start putting the crank rotating assembly back together. So I've been sitting here for a little bit. It's like past midnight now, and I didn't get those measurements right. I did piston, bore, minus. I didn't minus. Right, so I found the difference. I didn't divide it by 2 to find the piston to wall clearance. So I've actually still got quite a bit of meat I can take out. So that probably means that I might need to get new piston rings, because they are pretty big at the moment. So yeah, I'll double check it again, but yeah, I need to divide those numbers by 2, because obviously you got both sides. Alrighty boys, I am back. It's Wednesday night. I've got a lot to do here, so still got to measure up and work out the actual piston to wall clearance. We'll just divide them by 2 and minus that from 4 thou, and that's how much I need to take it back. So for the next 2 days off, so I'm going to work on that over those 2 days. But if it's taking me like a day to work on one, if I can get it pretty damn good without it tapering in the middle, I'll keep doing that. But if I can't, tomorrow I'll ring up a shop and just get them to do it. Because yeah, I want this block to survive. And I did say I want to do it, and yeah, I do want to do it. So fingers crossed it actually works out okay. So I'm going to finish this episode here because I need to edit it. So I'll edit this video, come out later tonight, and we'll do more measurements and a couple of other things for the engine bay. So I don't think I showed you, I've got the cooling mod for cylinder 4, so hopefully that'll help. As you can tell, cylinder 4 at the moment is the most out of round, so it might be a thing, it might work. So yeah, I've got some other things coming in hopefully next week. It'll help me progress with building this engine as well, so stay tuned for upcoming videos. If you like this episode, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, please consider hitting that subscribe button, and I'll catch you next episode. Bye.